$375 million was raised by startups based across the MENA region in February. Of that sum, Saudi startups raised the most, with $219 million across 23 investment deals. And a new trend is emerging where top talent from some of the world's biggest companies are leaving their secure jobs to join these startups. And we're joined by consultant from Robert Walters, Saudi Arabia, Faisal Sakala. Thanks so much for joining us today. Now, first, tell us why 58% of overall funding in the wider region is going towards Saudi.
Hi, Ramya. Thanks for having me. As you mentioned, in February alone, the MENA region saw, close to 400 million in funding for startups, within, the majority being towards the Saudi-based companies. There's a lot of reasons why Saudi is just an attractive hub at the moment. One being it's already a prosperous startup scene. Just for the past 5 years or so, Saudi has been a very active player in that startup market, alongside the UAE and Kuwait. With over 1,500 startups just within the past year popping up in that region. So investors are generally more attracted to hubs where talent tends to stick around and moves from company to company versus moving to another market. Another for the Saudi market is that it's being backed at the highest level from the government, right? So with the Crown Prince's 2030 vision, that's hitting a lot of major milestones and proving to be a high success at this time. It's diversifying the country's economy away from oil and gas and towards startup and technology. So you're seeing a lot of.
So give us more details on that, on exactly how the Saudi government is really facilitating startup growth and international investment.
Yeah, absolutely. The Saudi government, they've made a lot of funding towards these new startups, with the likes of the PIF and national investments like the Saudi venture capitalist firms. They're investing heavily in these companies, and they allow the startups to reach a stage where they're much more attractive for foreign investments. One more thing to add on that is, the ease of regulations and complexity that the Saudi government has introduced. It just allows more of these companies to pop up and apply for these sort of fundings and investments.
And why do you think that headcount has grown by 20% within Saudi startups in the past 12 months? How are these new small companies really drawing top talent away from these established firms?
Obviously, there's a multitude of reasons why, for example, Ramya, post-pandemic, a job within a startup seem more attractive. It's that accelerated career path. So when you join a company at a startup stage, you're wearing multiple hats, you're involved in key decision making, and a lot of people want that under their belt. And you're seeing a product or a project being completed from start to finish, versus at an established company, you're not really getting to see that sort of exposure. Another thing is that financial and long-term incentives that the Saudi market has introduced through stocks and equity for their employees. Lastly is that, lots of people who work for startups have that entrepreneurial mindset and go off after a few years doing their own thing and then starting up their own companies. So they're using it as a playground to sort of teach and grow themselves as well professionally.
So many incentives there. Okay, thanks so much for joining us today, Faisal.
Not a problem. Thank you for your time, Ramya.